Right, question I get on this channel the whole time. When are you going to drive the Scania Scott? When are you going to drive the Scania Scott? I'm going to drive some Scanias.
Good world gone bad.
Yes, I'm lucky enough to be here in Sweden of all places, headquarters of Scania, to check out the latest offerings. So Scania has launched a big update to its 13-litre powertrain. What does that mean? Well, any truck that is not a V8 has been made lighter, more powerful, and just more efficient, which is what Scania is going for this time. Now this is all labelled the new Scania SUPER powertrain. Now the name Super has been with Scania for years, going back decades, and it was used to distinguish the most powerful trucks at the time. But this time it's all about efficiency. Now efficiency, 8% fuel savings. Scania are boasting with this. This is not an up to number, this is a minimum number. Scania don't do up to numbers. So 8% more efficiency out of every tank. Now 8% may seem like a small number, but you've got to remember the scale of how much fuel that can actually save over an entire year. Now the drive for this is simple. Emissions. Carbon emissions, there's no getting away from it. There are laws and regulations coming in all over the world, all different cities. London in the UK is the worst one, Manchester's been introduced soon, Birmingham's got one, all these low emission zones. And Scania not only want to future-proof themselves by meeting all these targets set, they also feel like it's an obligation to lower the greenhouse footprint that they produce. So much so that all of the current engines can run on HVO and without any modifications. And they also offer engines that run on biodiesel. I mean, this is now. This is not an update to that, that's now. So that tells you their commitment to reducing emissions. Definitely hear the different sound of the engine.
It's like a little more bass in this one.
Yeah, it's still quiet, but it's you can still hear it pushing.
Yeah.
So I've just been lucky enough to have a go out on the Swedish public roads with these two trucks. Had 20 minutes in one, 20 minutes in the other. 20 minutes is not much time, but it was more than enough to show. This is the old 500, this is the non-Super, whereas this is the Super. This one is, however, equipped with a new gearbox and its new overdrive system. Just incredibly smooth. Same with the new. But it's got a bit more grunt in it. You can definitely hear the sound of the new engine. The compression exhaust brake as well. It's got a retarder as well as a compression exhaust brake, but you might argue you don't even need a retarder anymore because it just does a fantastic job by itself. Scania SUPER range. It's not just a facelift, it's not just a minor update, 10 horsepower here, 20 horsepower there. It's a completely new redesign. The chassis has been redesigned, the rear axle has been redesigned, the gearbox has been redesigned, And can I just say wow to the gearbox? That is so smooth. It's just better, and this brings up the whole range, because the V8 range was updated last year. Remember with the 770, the 660, the 530? They all got updated. This is what they're doing to the 13 litre. So now the whole range of Scania is ready for the future. And if Euro 7 emission standards come in, Scania are ready for them. Oh, and of course, new engine. And she still has a bit of grunt. I was getting a bit worried that new trucks coming out will just be dead silent. No. Scania shows they can be a quiet truck, but still be a beast under the bonnet. The power has been boosted with these new Super powertrain trucks. 560 replaces the 540, the 500 stays at 500, but the 450 has been boosted by 10 to 460. Now, with the introduction of the new 560, a 560, that places it firmly in V8 territory. 10 years ago, that would have been a big V8, everyone would have wanted it. And while the likes, it doesn't touch of the 770 over there, it's got to have people thinking, is it worth going for a V8? And the V8s now start at 530. Why can't I just have more power in a 560? So I suspect out of the lower end of the scale, we're probably going to see less V8s on the road. The biggest thing is cost. Why would you go for a V8 with less power that costs more than the 560? It just doesn't make any sense. So it's probably going to be the way of things, but Scania are firmly not giving up on the V8. I mean, it's synonymous with their brand. They love it, their customers love it. Scania are just trying to future-proof themselves with all these emissions, because the V8 itself meets the emissions targets. They have to, otherwise they won't sell them at all. They won't be allowed to sell them. But I suppose we'll see what the future holds.